Good evening, I'm Matt McCoy. Thanks for being with us. Police are still investigating a shooting that happened last night at the Cobb 16 movie theater. Today, police continued their investigation. Last night, our crews were first on the scene, and tonight we bring you all the details in tonight's top story. It happened around 9:30 Saturday night. That's when, according to the Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Unit, 8 to 10 shots were fired in the parking lot at the Cobb 16 movie theater.
When officers got here on the scene, it was chaotic. They located a young black male inside suffering from a gunshot wound to his head.
Police say that victim was 18-year-old Levante Jones. He was transported to DCH in Tuscaloosa, where he was treated for his wounds. Although it's not known how many weapons were used in the shooting, the Tuscaloosa Police Department has reason to believe it was more than one.
I've been told that there are 2 different types of shell casings that have been recovered, but at this time, due to the investigation, I'm not at liberty to say what type of shell casings there were. So we know that there was more than one gun that was used.
Upon further investigation at the theater, police say 3 suspects were taken into custody, including 17-year-old Arthur Bryant, who, according to Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Unit, fled the scene and was taken into custody near a local business. One moviegoer told WVUA of the chaos that she experienced inside the theater.
I was in the movies, and then the movies had stopped, and then they made everybody come out the movies, and then there was a big crowd, and then I seen the man going in the ambulance.
According to the Tuscaloosa Police Department, the investigation is ongoing, and more arrests could be made in the future. Brian is being held at the Tuscaloosa County Jail on a $40,000 bond. He's being charged with attempted murder. Continuing in tonight's Home Team Crime Watch, Tuscaloosa Police Department responded to shots fired on the 400 block of 30th Place in Tuscaloosa. Upon arrival, officers found a pool of blood in the street, a vehicle with shots in it, and shell casings. According to police, the 50-year-old victim tried to drive himself to the hospital when he wrecked his vehicle. Police say the victim was under the influence of alcohol upon arrival to DCH. The case is still under investigation. One man is behind bars after a shooting at the McFarland Mall. According to Sergeant Brent Blankley at the Tuscaloosa Police Department, Demarius Thomas was arrested and charged with robbery in the 1st degree and assault in the 2nd degree. According to the Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Unit, Thomas received a ride with the victim, and upon arrival to the McFarland Mall, Thomas demanded the victim's phone at gunpoint. But when the victim tried to push the gun away, a round went off in his hand. Thomas is being held at the Tuscaloosa County Jail on a $75,000 bond. One woman is recovering after a man attempted to rape her at the Best Value Inn on McFarland Boulevard. According to Captain Lloyd Baker with the Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Unit, the 24-year-old victim was reading a book on her car before heading back into her room. That's when the victim went into the room and the suspect followed her into her room. That's when Baker says she ran out screaming. A witness called 911 after hearing the screams. The case is still under investigation. In tonight's Home Team Health Watch, as students go back to the classroom or the dorm room, their first thoughts may not be the hazards that could await them. WVUA's Victoria Sheehan met up with a health official to learn how to prevent the most common of illnesses.
For Tuscaloosa Emergicare, doctors and nurses say they know when it's back to school time.
We know when the peak time starts in August, and we know when the breaks are. We can tell a difference when it's. So probably 25% of our patient population are students.
For the college age group, sicknesses like strep, the common cold, and mono are most prevalent, but other dangerous illnesses like meningitis are also concerns.
Anytime you've got community living, which is what this is, real close quarters, you have a chance of spreading disease processes.
Eating and drinking after one another are the main culprits when it comes to spreading bacteria. Avoid doing that and you knock out some of your chances for illness. Other solutions to preventing sickness are even more simple than that.
First of all, knowing if someone else is sick, stay clear. Use real good hygiene. Keep your hands washed all the time. Most of these diseases are spread by saliva or respiratory droplets. So you want to stay out of people's face. You don't want to drink after them. You don't want to eat after them.
But to avoid sickness altogether, doctors say adequate sleep, exercise, and good nutrition are the fundamentals to staying healthy.
8 hours would be excellent. And you may not get it every night, but you need to do it. And sleep deprivation and being stressed, not eating well, not hydrating well, sets you up to be more susceptible to disease.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Victoria Sheehan, WVUA News.
Dr. Bobo says even though it may be difficult for some students to resist, moderating alcohol and tobacco use will make a big difference in their health. In tonight's election watch, one candidate that landed in the top 3 at the Iowa straw poll and has ended his road to the White House. Former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty abandoned his bid for the GOP presidential nomination after a disappointing finish in the Ames straw poll in Iowa. He finished 3rd, but some say it was a distant 3rd, behind Representatives Michelle Bachmann and Ron Paul. Pawlenty told his staffers this morning, quote, "We needed a boost from Ames. That didn't happen." Republican presidential hopefuls are moving full steam ahead with their campaigns without Pawlenty, but we haven't heard much about what President Barack Obama re-election campaign is up to. That's all about to change as Athena Jones tells us President Obama will be hitting the road Monday for a 3-day bus tour.
While Republican hopefuls battle for a chance to take on President Obama in 2012, the president has spent much of the summer stuck in Washington as Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill dueled over the debt limit. Now Congress is on vacation, and the president is heading to the heartland to talk directly to the American people.
There's been a lot of talk in Washington right now that I should call Congress back early. The last thing we need is Congress spending more time arguing in D.C. They need to spend more time out here listening to you. That's why I'll be traveling to a lot of communities like this one over the next week.
The 3-day bus tour will cut a 360-mile swath through Minnesota, Iowa, and Illinois. He won all 3 in 2008, but Iowa and Minnesota could be up for grabs this time around.
I think this is an attempt to simply get as much attention as he can in an important part of the country.
With an unemployment rate above 9%, jobs top the agenda. 7 out of 10 poll respondents say there are few jobs in their community, and only 29% believe more jobs will be available a year from now.
Americans seem to be really worried about things, and it looked like optimism was getting a little bit better month by month, over the last couple of years. Now it's basically dropped off the cliff.
President Obama wants Congress to extend the payroll tax cut, among other measures, to help spur hiring.
I'll put forward more proposals to help our businesses hire and create jobs.
One thing political analysts agree on, kickstarting job growth will be key to the president's re-election hopes.
The biggest problem for the president and for the White House is creating a sense among most Americans that the economy is about ready to improve. The problem is there's nothing that he can do immediately to change that. There's no magic wand that he has.